Hi there. GIG, a good intervening God. Bit difficult if God is is transcendent and is totally aloof and beyond this world of the demiurge. But of course, the good intervening part of God is the Holy Spirit, and of course the ministry of Christ and the metaphysical energy of Christ, as it were. Which is the same stuff as the Holy Spirit anyway. So it doesn't really matter what you're talking about. It's the Holy Spirit, and represented sometimes by a dove bearing an olive branch. So good and intervening. It's funny actually. I when I thought of this video, I thought of the phrase which I thought came from the Bible, that God helps those who help themselves. But there's no such verse in the Bible, and I'm sure there absolutely was. And of course, that's interesting in itself, really. But I'll come on to that in a minute. See, I always thought that phrase was in there, that you had to make one step towards God, and God would make two steps towards you, and you'd meet in the middle, kind of like in a sort of there's your aspiration to God, and there's God's response to you, kind of thing. But it doesn't seem to be the case. I mean, and I thought it was there because I thought that if you could be one of these people that says, unless you help me, God, I won't believe in you. Or you could sort of say, this is the evidence that I need that God exists, that He will help me. And if He doesn't help me, that obviously means there's no such thing as God, right? Well, there might not be a good intervening God, because the God might be thought of as being in deist terms, that the God is totally aloof. But in Gnosticism, it does appear that there's a Holy Spirit that is intervening and creating gnosis, or generating gnosis within Gnostics, within people that follow the Gnostic scriptures. But that's probably even another point separate from this. But in actual fact, there is no such verse as God helps those who help themselves. So basically, if you kind of use that as a piece of evidence, you'll be sorely disappointed, because it does mean that you should have faith in the Holy Spirit to help you completely. That you're a baby, that you're a fleck of dust, and you need to be picked up by the Holy Spirit and carried along. And carried away from trouble and anguish. But of course, the soul is anguished anyway, and the Holy Spirit can't save you from the anguish of the soul, because the soul is imprisoned in evil matter, in the realms of demiurge, and by definition cannot be helped by the Holy Spirit, or at least not on a permanent basis anyway. Or even you can't be made to be happy. This happiness comes sometimes, but we are in this predicament, which Gnosis has made us fully cognizant of, and there's not much you can do about it, really. But I think that the Gnosis itself brings comfort, brings a change of consciousness, because once you realize that this is the soul's, this is where the soul is at the moment, then it's almost sort of toughens you up in a way. Kind of you kind of feel, well, I shouldn't expect any more. So there's a increase or a decrease in expectation, and perhaps an increase in stoic defense, in a way, of your emotional being as a result of Gnosis. But then I think that the Gnosis always and also brings you existential hope, because there is a Holy Spirit, and because of Christ, the salvation is at hand, and salvation is in the here and now, or at least salvation reflecting the greater salvation. So there's a sort of lesser salvation, if you want to put it like that, and there's a greater salvation. But the lesser salvation, which is to be had in soul awareness, is very, very powerful indeed, and occurs even though we are imprisoned in this evil world. So it's pretty good. But so in a way, perhaps you don't have to do anything yourself. You don't have to make one step forward, and Jesus makes two steps towards you. You could just be on your back and not going anywhere, and the Holy Spirit will still come to you. And this feeling itself, this realization, is itself a source of great comfort. Because I've often sort of wondered about, all these things that we have to do, these prayers and these rituals and these meditations, and I don't know, and all these grades that are in the Hermetic order of the Golden Dawn, and all the stuff you have to go to all the meetings. I don't know, throw any initiations and rituals and all this kind of stuff, and basically you don't have to do any of it. It's all completely superfluous because the Holy Spirit is here in the here and now upon you. The Holy Spirit, salvation is at hand, and God is closer to you than your jugular vein. Even the transcendental God, is also immanent. So there's an immanence and there's a transcendental quality to God, which defies all rational thought altogether, which is great, because if you can't think about it, you can't worry about it, and if you can't worry about it, then you're open to the action of the Holy Spirit whenever you want to, whenever you have a desperate need for it. And I think it must come from the need as well. We are in need of the Holy Spirit. We are in need of the spiritual medicine that Gnosis creates within us. There's no doubt about that. Any person that says they don't need it is a fool, because we all need it to whatever extent we need it. It could be great or small. Great or small doesn't even cut it, really. It's all a relative term, obviously. The need is all relative, but it is there. It is real. So on that basis, the Holy Spirit is as it is as it says on the tin, and the good intervening God is transcendental, but nevertheless is in the midst. I mean, it's like, if you're in a prison cell, you get Red Cross packages sent to you, and these packages, you open them up, and they're very, very wonderful, because it means someone cares about you in the world, cares about you being in this prison camp, and cares that you're not having enough nutrients, and you're not having enough of anything, and just to see the Red Cross package coming to you, being delivered to you, is must have been an incredible thing for prisoners of war during the Second World War and the First World War. Second World War for certain, in certain parts of the world anyway, and this must have been an incredible sort of morale booster, really. And you could say that the Holy Spirit is the Red Cross parcel that you receive whilst being a prisoner of war, in this terrible situation that you find yourself in. But I mean, keep meditating, do the meditations if they help you, but don't worry about it, because help is at hand, and the Holy Spirit is with you.